Okay, let's see here. Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream here at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters in Zone 5B 6A, Northern Indiana. And a lot to talk about today because the season is underway. So let us know where you're viewing from and what the growing season is like so far, wherever you're at, what the weather is like. Fortunately, it's overcast here today, which is wonderful because the plants don't actually love blazing sun all the time. The plants actually love some cloud cover because the sunlight is more diffused with the cloud cover, and that is really important for plant growth. So, yeah, let's see here. Let's see who is here. All right. Whoa, you guys are already having conversations. Wonderful. So, Julia Herich says, could you please show how you organize your fertilizers and store them? And I wonder how much of them do you have and for how big area of the garden? Yes, I actually, so everybody asks about the barrels that I get, those black barrels. And I get mine from a guy on Facebook Marketplace that works at like an olive factory. And apparently they fall off the truck or whatever. I don't know, but he's selling them for like $20, and they get the olives from Greece. The olives come from Greece, and they come in these food grade 55-gallon drums with a tight fitting lid. They're wonderful barrels, and they're ideal for our fermentations. And so I bought like 10 of them, and at all the garden plots that I'm a part of, I have a barrel, and that's quite a bit. So if you have a 55-gallon drum, that's pretty much going to do, hello, Freebird. That's pretty much going to do your garden. I mean, one drum will do your garden. If you make a couple of them, one like crop residue fertilizer, and then one like chicken manure fertilizer, something like that, a high nitro, high luscious growth fertilizer, and then like a 5-gallon bucket or two of the fish fertilizers. So if you have a small garden, which, it's all relative and how intense you plant and everything like that, but you can do quite a bit with 5-gallon buckets as well, with tight fitting lids. So for most people, the 5-gallon buckets, you can have a fish fertilizer, you could have a grass and crop residue fertilizer, you could have one of the ash fertilizers, you could have 4, 5, 6 different kinds and then mix them all together at the point of use. When you go to use them, fill a 50-gallon drum with that, okay? Voltage Nut says, hello from Serbia, a lot of rain here. Man, that would be nice because it's not raining here. We have had one rain all summer long, and I know it's only the second or third day of summer, but I mean all season long. So since these plants went into the ground, they've experienced one brief day of rain, and that's it. Other than that, it's just been dry, and they're just sitting there, they're just waiting for rain, and they're parched, and the microorganisms in the soil are not thriving because there's not the rain, and the earthworms are not coming up to the surface because there's not the moisture and stuff. It's just not a good growing season so far. We need the rain, but next year I'm gonna do what I've been saying for the past couple years, and I'm just going to install drip lines because I'm gonna treat it like I treated the desert in Northern California. When the rain stops, it doesn't rain one time for 6 months straight. Everything turns brown, and unless you irrigate it, it's not growing, period. So, that's a whole different style of gardening as opposed to like Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, the Midwest, the Corn Belt and stuff. We typically get sufficient rainfall to grow everything, that we really don't have to irrigate the crops. But the past 2 years, 3 years even, have been a joke. So there's no way. I'm just going to treat it like it's Northern California in the sense that we're not going to get any rain. So I'm just going to put the drip lines in there and have to see where that goes. But guys, don't let me forget to tell you about this bad little pump. This pump that I've been using, okay? The stainless steel one, you guys have been asking about it. And finally got it, been using it, tested it out, and I can put my stamp on it now. So But first, I want to see what you guys are up to. Kim Williams says, using drip irrigation here, it's the only way to grow anything. Yeah. So in those arid environments, then that is the only way to grow stuff, is only what you irrigate is going to be growing, which also makes the weed situation kind of easier to deal with because, you know, when it just rains, weeds can grow everywhere. Lisa T says, Garden Like a Viking, do you have a favorite green bean varieties? Also, when we sow seeds into deep mulch, like 4 to 6 inches of leaves, does it change how deep you plant seed into soil? Much appreciated. Okay, so if you're talking about the seed, then you want to scoot that aside and plant into the soil underneath. And no, it does not change because you don't plant the seed and then put all the mulch back over it. You have to keep it scooted away for a while. All right, and so that's very important. That's what a lot of people don't understand, is that you don't plant in the leaves, and so you will scoot it back, plant, you know, the green bean seed 1 inch, 2 inches deep if it's dry out and stuff, and then leave the leaves away from it for a time being until it sprouts, and then you can, you know, once it starts growing, then you can scoot it back if you need to. But favorite green bean varieties, yes. Oh yeah, mint and chamomile, straight from outside 5 minutes ago. And yes, the Kalima is a really good one. It's a Calima, and that is it's more like the French type. They're real thin, you know, you harvest them when they're like the size of a pencil. Those are really good ones, and they stay tender. I like them. And also the dragon tongue bush green beans, they're really colorful. It's like a Dutch heirloom type variety, and those are really good. I love those ones. Also, any of the stringless, Landreth stringless, kind of tough to say. Those are really good as well because they really literally have no string, and that is that can be one of the downfalls to like homegrown, definitely pole beans, pole green beans. If you guys, how many of you know this? When you are, if you let them go too long or you don't string them properly, then you're eating them and it's like you just got a mouthful of like piano wire, hair, kind of just fibers, and it can be really off-putting. So it's good to grow the stringless varieties. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Robert Udvari says, Mr. Viking, how long does the chicken manure have to sit to be usable? Well, that's the beauty of it, is it can be usable right away because there are water-soluble nutrients in there that are going to be either already plant available or very easy to digest and assimilate and become plant available by the microorganisms. So we runner beans. Yeah, Kim Williams, actually, pole beans, runner beans are different. Runner beans are different than pole beans. I mean, they are poles still, but the runner beans are for cool weather. So that's probably what you mean. And they grow differently and they look differently and stuff. But anyways, then about the chicken manure, you can use it right away, okay? But when you let it set, then with the leaf mold and stuff, the microorganism activity breaks it down even more and it becomes more and more plant available. And so you can use it right away, but it will become better and better with time. And that doesn't really go away. So if you made a barrel, as you saw in the video, and then you just put the lid on it, put it away for a year, then that would be awesome, because then by the end of that year, the microorganisms are going to have consumed all the food that is in there. And then once the food is consumed, then the microorganisms will die. But they will leave behind their bodies and the residuals of their activities. And all of that is going to be very plant available nutrients. So that's really, in my experience, the best way to use anaerobic ferments is to make it all up and let it set for a year or so. But you don't have to. So you can just keep using it anytime along that way. Okay? So yes, you guys are asking about the electroculture, and I understand, but I am going to reserve the updates or anything. And I'm going to it'll be a few weeks still. It'll still be a few weeks. You just have to wait for it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. I'm going to show you everything, and we'll go from there. Okay? So you have to stay tuned for it, all right? because I didn't want to do the experiment and then immediately be judging it in any way. We just have to give it time and we have to see. So Robert Udvari says, greatest explanation I heard on the topic. Thanks a lot. You are very welcome, my friend. Printer Bear says, when will you start fall cabbage? Direct seeded. Okay, no. I really direct seed as little as possible. I only direct seed the stuff that is best direct seeded. Like the squash, the melons, the cucumbers, you know, those kind of things. And those are best, and the melons, those are most bountiful when they are direct seeded. But if I can start it up and it's not a problem to transplant, I always want to do that because the insect pressure here is just so intense that, and the plants, they'll come up above the ground and then they'll just sit there. They're like, hey guys, I'm here and I'm all young and vulnerable and I'm just have no defenses and I'm all tiny, and it just sits there for days and days and weeks really while it's putting down root system and all that stuff and getting established. But in that time, it's just so delicate. It just gets wiped out by slugs and cucumber, just everything will just wipe it out. Or the cat. Oh man, the cat is very destructive in the garden. Still though, it's better to have a cat than it is not. Because even though the cat destroys a lot of things by rolling in it and digging in the stuff, it's still, the cat is not trying to eat the actual stuff. Whereas the chipmunks and the rats and the birds and all that are actually trying to eat the produce. And so they will do a lot more damage than the cat does. Let's see. Just Me, what's up, my friend? Says, is the aerobic fertilizer still okay to use after a week? No, it is not. So you are talking about, so I've been having special correspondence with Just Me, and he is doing the aerated tea, a form of it, the aerated teas. He's got the bubbler going and everything, and he's got a beautiful garden in Tennessee, pretty much everyone's dream garden. That's the one we installed earlier this year, and it is just bursting with life and activity. But the aerated teas, no. After a week, absolutely not. So you just want to dump that out and just dump it out somewhere, but don't really put it on the plants or anything like that. So that, because it's a whole different animal, it's a whole different ball game, different way of doing things. So no. Let's see here. Tammy Ferry says, can you talk about it? What? Oh, the compost tea. Yes, basically the compost tea, but I'll be making a video soon because there's a lot to it, and I want you guys to see it directly, and I want right from the beginning. I don't want you to just have an idea of it and then try and run with it and then be doing it wrong, you know? And so, yeah, the compost tea can be very good, and especially if you are in a place where the smell is a factor, okay? Because I told you this last week, but I'll just say it again because some of you might not have been here. But when I was in the mountains in Northern California, all of you know this, that for those years, and we would use all different kinds of stuff. And the smells, you never really thought about it because you just, in the farming, homesteading life, there's just all kinds of smells. Just some of them really gnarly, some of them really pleasant. But it's all, there's animals and all kinds of manures and just everything. So you didn't really notice any of the smells of the JDOM fertilizers. It was just farming, it's just growing. It's the smell of life, really. But then when I came back to my hometown, and now I'm in the city environment, then all of a sudden I had perspective. And as far as now I can just smell. Now the smells are really rancid. The JDOM fertilizers and stuff, and really just kind of unacceptable for being so close to people and stuff like that. So the aerated teas don't smell at all, and that is the number one benefit. Also, they're very powerful, very effective, and it is literally like liquid compost. If you guys know how good compost does by adding it to the soil, then spraying it all over everything and the leaves and the soil and all of that, getting into the soil and getting onto the leaves is very beneficial, man. The plants, after you give them a good aerated compost tea, they're praying. I call it singing or praying up to the sky. The leaves are just boom, straight up like this, and they are happy. Yes. So Let's see here. Ms. T, hello, my friend, says got the wetting agent on board and ready to use to keep the cabbage worms, aphids, and bugs away. Good, 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 good. Yes, that will be a pretty good. Just the wetting agent alone is going to be pretty much adequate for most things. So Melody says, hi, where do I send pics? Do you double stem your Cherokee purples? You can, what's best, guys, if you want me to see your garden, what's best is to use Instagram, because I'm finding it's the easiest platform. So just, even if you don't have Instagram, just sign up just for this. That's all. I mean, it's worth it. So that, and then use the hashtag Garden Like a Viking. And you can mention me. It says mention at Garden Like a Viking. And then I can see, it alerts me to it. And the platform's really easy to be able to to see your pictures and all that stuff. And this is my favorite part, if we use the Instagram platform to see your garden and stuff, then other people can benefit from our interactions. With people emailing me and stuff, it's, you know what I mean? The reach isn't nearly as much. And so we need to reach more people with the knowledge. So that's why I highly prefer you start an Instagram account or and then tag me in them. And because at this point, guys, I'm getting tons of emails and stuff like that now, just like from all over the place and stuff. So a lot of things can get kind of lost in the noise. So don't take it personal if you've sent me stuff and I can't respond immediately. You know, I'm still learning about how to do all this, like be a social media person, you know, because for years I didn't even sign into social media or have any social media at all. And I was living in the mountains, off grid, never signing into the internet or anything like that. Didn't even have a cell phone that really worked. I had a burner phone and that was it. And then I come back here and now all of a sudden my whole life is social media. And so it's kind of wild. Okay. But do I double stem the Cherokees? You know, Cherokees aren't the most vigorous of plants. They can be depending on certain factors, but this year, you guys will see once the rains come or something, once things get started, it's such a slow start, but once everything gets started, you will see. I have caged a couple with the big concrete mesh cages that I make myself. I've caged about 4 different tomato plants, but then I also did the method where we just put down the landscaping fabric and plant into the fabric, and then we just let them go. And I don't stake them or cage them or anything, because in their native environment, that's what tomatoes do. They just vine. They're actually like a vine. They crawl across the ground. And so in my experience, you get about 2 or 3 times the amount of tomatoes from just letting them sprawl all over the ground. So I'm doing it because I want to show you guys, but I might have gone a little bit too intense because the tomato plants are already huge and really nice and luscious. So we'll see. We'll see, you know. Natalie Dumont says, I have 6 cats. Wow, you will not be having much mice, huh? Let's see. Carol says, hi, Nate, been watching you since you had 7K subscribers. Light. My neighbor now has a light on all night. I think this is affecting my garden. Could this be so? Okay, yes, Carol, I recognize the name. Thank you for being here, of course. And light will affect certain plants. So if your plants are phototropic, meaning that they respond to day length, then yes, that will be an issue. So for example, if you were trying to grow cannabis plants outside and someone was leaving their lights on, that would be a big issue, because the cannabis is a phototropic plant, meaning that it utilizes the hours of darkness, not the hours of daylight. It uses the hours of darkness, uninterrupted darkness, to know when to start to flower. So as the days are really long in the season, 14, 15, 16 hours of daylight, then 8 hours of darkness, then it will be growing vegetatively. But then once the days start to shorten and they get to about 12 hours of darkness, 12 hours of daylight, then that signals to the plant to start to flower and produce fruits. And so if they are interrupted even for like 10 minutes in the middle of the night by a light, that will disrupt their system. Yes, they're that sensitive. But most of the plants that we're growing for produce, like tomatoes and all that stuff, no, it's not really good. Yeah, Garth is right. Lights at night interfere with insects, definitely. I mean, ideally there would be no lights because that's not how nature does it. You know, there's no light. So ideally, no. You wouldn't want there to be lights on all night. Maybe try to talk to the person or something, see what's the deal. Why do you have to have a light on all night? You know, they could be paranoid and stuff about stuff, but for the most part, if you're just growing vegetables for the garden, it's not going to be an issue. Onions might, it'd have to be a powerful light for onions to be affected. Dennis Carpenter says, East Texas here. What are your thoughts on terracotta pot watering? What do you mean? You have terracotta pots, and what is my thoughts on watering them? Or are you talking about the technique of letting the terracotta pot sort of seep through and self-water? You'd have to explain it to me again. Because I'm not that versed in it. So if you explain it to me, I could give you my immediate thoughts on it, though. EE says, yes, darkness must be as dark as possible for the sacred sacrament to flower properly. This is true. This is very true. Let's see here. That's true. Christine Edwards says, except for autoflowers, they're not daylight sensitive. That's true, but when I was in the industry, we didn't mess with autoflowers. Let's see here. Rain for the last 5 days in southeast Pennsylvania. Man, that would be great. Let's see here. Dane says, question, I live in northern New England. Can swamp water be used almost like leaf mold? You're talking about real swamp water or the fertilizer that you make? Because a lot of people call it swamp water because of David the Good. It's the same thing that we're making here. He just calls it, he's termed swamp water instead of calling it JDOM, JLF, you know. It's the same techniques. But yeah, swamp water. It's not a direct, I mean, I don't have enough experience to be able to say for sure if swamp water would have the same microbial profile as leaf mold. I don't think that it would, but if that's all you have available, then go ahead, you know, and use some. So, let's see. Karen Van Ermongen says, I have tomato plants that are loaded with tomatoes, but they're only about 15 inches tall. How could that be? It could be dependent on variety. It could be dependent. They could be stressed. You know, they could be root bound. If you have them in pots, you probably have them in pots, don't you? They're in containers of some kind. Let me know. The Mom General says, Nate, wanted to thank you for the tips on how to plant onions. Mine are burning out nicely, bulbing out nicely, I'm sure, is what you meant. Maybe because we have had rain every day for over a week, but starting them right did the trick. Definitely the rain helps because onions have a shallow root system, so they don't go deep into the earth like other plants do. So onions appreciate rain and, you know, consistent watering, but definitely all the tips, planting. Yeah, man, guys, the yellow of Parma onions this year that, I forget who recommended, or I forget how I got turned on to it, but yellow of Parma. And man, they are like 3.5 feet tall. Is crazy. Okay. And, they're just huge. I mean, so some of the stalk on some of them is this thick, and they have just started to bulb because long day onions begin to bulb after the solstice. Once the days start to get shorter, they switch from vegetative growth to bulbing production. And so that is, hopefully they're going to continue like that. I mean, they're going to be huge, I think. They love their life, though. They love where they're at and all that. So what's up, Lloyd James? Says, cheers from South Africa. Old Town says, my rain barrel is running low, need rain. Yeah, I mean, I've got my rain barrel set up, but why even bother? I was going to do like a rain barrel tutorial and stuff, but forget it because you got to have rain for there to even be. Yeah, I'm over counting on the weather because I'm just going to treat it like we live in the desert. Let's see here. Hello from Coldwater, Mississippi. Tammy Fisher says, question, is there any proof that sunflowers can stunt tomato plants planted next to them. I have a whole row that are stunted, and I think this might be why. I don't know about proof. Now that you're saying that, I do seem to remember a thing about the allelopathic effect of sunflowers. Now, I will show you guys, once this live stream is over, I will show you guys a video, or on my Instagram account, I'll post a video to the story showing you the allelopathic effects of fennel. The fennel plant has strong allelopathic effects, and you can see it. My ornamental grasses, the Miscanthus giganteus grass out front, it's kind of like bamboo. Some of them are like 8 feet tall. I mean, most of them are. And then as it gets closer to the fennel plant, boom, 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 until it gets next to the fennel plant, they're only like 2 feet. And it's just plain as day, you can see. Let's see here. Okay, guys, yeah, after this, listen up, guys. After this, I'm going to be doing a live stream interview with this other channel contacted me. It's not like a huge channel yet. I think they're just getting going and stuff. So whatever it is, it was an honor to be, to be contacted. So said, hey, we want to have you on our podcast. And so it is Let's Get Growing with the Urban Farmer. So I put a link in the description. If you go into the description of this video, I put a link to that live stream interview. So I want all of you guys that are still available. It starts at 2:30 Eastern time. Okay, so we're gonna stop here at about 1:30. Then I'm going to rest my voice for a little while, and then at 2:30, so just an hour after we end here, we're gonna start that. And he's gonna ask me, I don't know what, maybe like about back history or something. I don't really know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be live. And so I think you guys can participate as well. So I would like to see you guys there. Yes. That would be good. So yes, the urban gardener, here he is, says, yes, can't wait to talk to you, Nate. Yes. So is there a live chat as well? Can everybody help like participate like we're doing here? Cause that would be ideal. Cause my guys love to participate, in the chat, which is very important to me. So yeah, whoever can make it would be awesome if you can get there. So let's see. Augustin says, bro, how's your electroculture experiment going? Did you see any giant progress? Yes, guys, remember, I'm not going to comment at all on the electroculture. It's too soon. I want to show you guys. I don't want to be talking about it and giving away anything. So we just have to wait, because I'm not the kind, I can't just do it and then immediately start judging it or commenting on it. We just have to let it go for a while. Okay, so be patient, my friends, but you can rest assured that I am putting it to the test in several different places. And you guys, I got so many emails and comments and everything, and links to videos and all that stuff. And there's different ways to do it. So, some of them are on a long stick, wrapped clockwise, not wrapped around the stick clockwise, but wrapped clockwise from the earth looking down, or from the sky looking down to the earth. So a lot of different factors and stuff, but I will show you guys. Do not worry. Tushi says, smash that like button. That's right, my friends. Val says, I'll check you out on the live interview. Okay, good. I want to see you guys there. Okay, Urban Farmer says that it is an interactive chat, just like this one. So you guys can come there, and it'll be probably different than anything we've talked about here, because this is a Q&A about gardening. I've never given anything personal. Well, I do give personal things, but it'll just be different. You know what I mean? So Mad Max will be there. Okay, good. Yeah, we want to show some support, guys. So let's all go over there after this. It's only 1 hour after we end here. Let's see here. Oh, that's right, Ms. P. Okay, yes, you are right. Thank you. Ms. P says you got 2 tips and a question. So let us see here. Okay, yes, my old faithfuls, Austin and Miss P. Austin, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, Tahitian melon squash. Can you briefly talk storage and usage of harvest? Absolutely. And then Ms. P says, so $5. Thank you, Ms. P. Says, closing in on 98,000 subs. Nate, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Totally crazy. But people are hungry for this knowledge. They're hungry for this knowledge. And even though the channel is only not even a year and a half old, it's growing at a good pace. So I'm very happy with it. Not only the growth of it, but the quality of the community is what I like the most. So if you guys are new to the channel or whatever, read through the comment section of these videos. There's just like a plethora of knowledge, people's firsthand experience, people's encouragement, and all kinds of stuff. You know how some channels you read through the comments and everyone's like bickering and fighting and trying to be insulting and all that? There's like none of that on this channel, which is awesome. So that's pretty much one of my favorite parts is you guys. And then back to Austin. Yes, the Tahitian melon squash, my friends. The monstrous Jurassic Tahitian melon squash, if you grow it properly, meaning in the richest possible soil, the richest possible environment that you can, well draining, and so that it does not have to compete with weeds. Okay, this is important. Watch the video I made a month or two ago about how to plant melons and squash, and you will see the ideal way. All right, and so the Tahitian melon squash, you will want to make sure that you thin them properly. Okay, so when you start them, plant 4 or 5 seeds. All right. And then once they sprout, then after about a few weeks, once you can tell which one is the strongest, thin the rest. I know it's difficult, but you have to pull the rest of them, okay? But you don't pull them, you just cut them at ground level and leaving the strongest one. And that one is going to become enormous. I mean, the stalk on that will become 2 or 3 inches thick. Some of the leaves can be this big around. The thing can grow for 30 feet. And I'm talking if you do it right, okay? If you're growing like in a container or something, or if you're growing in less than ideal conditions, it'll still be big. It won't be like Jurassic though. But you want to give it plenty of room, okay? And then when it is ready to harvest, you will be able to tell because the plant dies. So you actually just let them go as long as you can because they're like 110, 120 days. And that's after it sprouts and stuff. So really you want to let them go. All right. And you'll be able to tell though. Okay. So like if you have to pull them early, or if you're in like the tropic, or if you're in some place that doesn't have a frost that you have to worry about, then if you take your thumbnail, okay, so when the Tahitian melon squash is growing, the skin is actually very soft. And so if you just if you just poke it with your thumbnail, it will pierce the squash real easily. And that's not what you want, okay? So it's nowhere near ready, and it's green. It'll be green, all right? So what you want to do is you want to wait until pretty much till the plant dies back. And then you want to leave the squash in the direct sun. I know that sounds crazy. You want to leave it in the direct blazing sun. Cut it from the stem of the plant, all right? Leaving plenty of it. Don't cut it too short. Leaving plenty of the stem left, 3-4 inches. Cut that and leave it in the direct sun for about 5 days to a week, and then flip it. Or you can flip it every other day, or even every day. But you want it to be exposed to that direct sun for a couple of days, for about a week. And then you're going to look and you will try to pierce the skin, and it will be nice and hard. Don't actually force it though, because you don't want any blemishes or tears in the skin of the squash, the Tahitian melon squash, any squash really. But if you pierce it, then it's not going to store as long. But if you don't, and you do it just like I'm talking about, and you cure it in the sun like that, it will store all year. I still have one in the basement. So they will last a year, no problem. And a big old neck on them like that. And so you can just cut the part of the neck that you need and cook with it. And then it will form like a thin skin over the part that you cut. And then that will stay good. And you can just cut that again when you need it again. Once you start cutting into one, try to use it within about a week, but it stays good. It'll stay good on the counter, on the shelf, or on your kitchen counter for like a week, even 2 weeks once you start cutting into the neck. So it's like the ultimate food plant. I mean, it's just the ultimate, so much food. And a couple of years ago, I grew some that were like this big around, and were just boom, like 30 pounds each one, huge. And I had a whole basement full of them. I kind of made myself sick on squash that year. I definitely did, actually, because it was, just too much squash, So I didn't grow that many last year. I only grew one plant. But this year I'm growing some more. So, yeah. Taylor Rendell says, Nate, can you do more videos on your recipes for your meals and cooking with all the stuff you preserved? Oh, man, I would love to do that. Yes. Yes, I would love to do that. It's tough, though, because those cooking and the preservation videos, man, they just do really poorly, And when you're trying to, like, grow your channel, it's kind of like, it's tough to put out a video that is going to do really poor, But that being said, they have to come out because it's very important. I mean, that's a whole nother part of the game. That's you have to have that kind of thing. I mean, you have to know how to prepare it all really good. So if you go to my Instagram story right now, and the story on Instagram, and you look at the last one I just posted last night, you will see delicious collard greens, mustard greens, seared on the fire, on the grill. Guys, it was so delicious. And the carrots, seared those as well. And then I had some beef because I had just made a big batch of bone broth recently. And there was still a bunch of beef left on the bones. You see the broth, guys? Yes, this power superfood. See how it's quite gelatinous like that? That's what you want. It's a little bit, because now it's sitting at room temperature again. But when it's in the fridge, it should be totally like Jell-O. And this is the good stuff, guys. This stuff is made with carrots, onions, garlic scapes, rosemary, thyme, oregano, all this stuff right from the garden. I mean, it is the superfood of superfoods. And the way you consume this is neat. You can just pour it into a little saucepan, heat it up. Never microwave, of course. None of you guys should have microwaves. I hope that we're all at that level, okay? But if you do, it's okay. There's room for improvement, though. But we will just take some of this, heat it up, and sip it like a hot cup of life-giving goodness, because that's what it is, okay? And then, then we picked the bones, and it was wonderful. Let's see, Mesabi Gal says, I'm trying to get my cook husband to grill from the garden. He's a newbie and hesitates. How can we encourage him? Ooh, yeah, I need to, I'll try making more videos. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely do more of them on the Instagram and the shorts. Yes, I can do that. 4 Points Homestead, cooking like a Viking channel. I would totally do that. And I know I have enough content for that. But the thing is, I don't have enough life hours. I have endless life energy, but life hours are limited. So this channel's taken a lot, and then I love doing the Monday live on my other channel where we talk spirituality and health and wellness and all this stuff. I'm really starting to like that channel as well, that community. So until I get like the ranch, and land and all that stuff, then the videos are going to transform a bit into different they'll be a little bit more long form, they'll just have to be because there will be so much more going on and stuff. And so there will just be a lot more, it'll be more like episodes of a show, more or less, so sort of like my Travel Like a Viking channel. So I have that channel to where those are like telling the story of what is happening, because there is only so many gardening videos that a person can make until we've after a couple more years like this, we're going to have covered all the topics, so we will do, Garden Like a Viking, do the cooking vids in the winter. Yes, I would love to do this. And some of them definitely I will, but also, now is the time because now, I eat with the seasons. And so in the wintertime, it's a lot of potatoes and, sweet potatoes, winter squash, beef, lots of meat and fish and stuff like that, eggs. But during the summertime, it's all fresh. It's all fresh from the garden stuff. Masabi says, there's no reason why once every 5 or 6 videos couldn't be about cooking, preserving the produce. It's so critical to avoid waste. Oh, absolutely. You're very true about that. And most people, when they grow things, if they grow a garden, and they only want to focus on what they are familiar with. They're like, oh, well, we don't typically eat that stuff, so just let it go to waste. Or they just won't plant it. But that's the whole beauty of the land, of letting the land yield for you, is experimenting and going out and saying, okay, now we are going to try these new things. We're going to research a different recipe, or we're going to learn a whole different flavor, because all the plants that we are growing, guys, are medicine. Make no mistake. The food is the medicine. That's for sure. And herbs and different plants and all of that stuff, it's all like medicine. And so you need to learn how to cook with as much diversity as possible. As omnivores, we not only can eat a huge diversity, but really should eat. We thrive best eating a largest diversity of things. And that is definitely true with the plants, because we need all different kinds of minerals in us. Jeff Cox, $10. Thank you very much for the tip, my friend. You didn't put a question with it, but I just appreciate it. Appreciate it. So let's see here. Scott Miller says, someone make him a Viking longboat with raised bed and a smoker. Yes. Yes, that would be cool. Okay, let's see here. Kip Tap, $10. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, for the cause. How about a rain dance video? Yeah, really. How about one? I need to learn one, because yeah, it's just not thriving, you know? Robert Udvari says, do you use any food supplements? I use absolutely no supplements at all. No. I used to many years ago, though. Like when I was in my early 20s, I was into bodybuilding, my late teens and early 20s. And I was like 240 pounds, and I was like bodybuild, you know, all the time, protein shakes and supplements, all kinds of different supplements and stuff. And I didn't know this at the time, but I was very unhealthy. I was healthy, but even looking back, I can just see all this toxins and this weight and stuff like that was just seeping out of me. It was just, yeah, it was not that healthy. And so over the years, I have learned that if you are having a balanced diet and as close to using whole foods that are in as close to its natural state as possible, there is no need for supplements, because we were not designed to need supplements from some company or from some store or something. So, but that being said, you can't just be buying Hot Pockets and Gushers and drinking soda pop all the time and then expect, I don't need no supplements. No, those kind of people definitely need supplements. But I'm talking about the people that have really come around to the real way of eating whole foods in as close to the natural state as possible. And in particular, growing their own. Because even if you go to the store and you get something, a thing of celery or an apple or carrots, conventionally farmed carrots or conventionally farmed produce, it is so depleted. The soil has become so depleted that it's going to be devoid of vitamins and minerals. And then you eat this, and you are eating a substance that is devoid of the vitamins and minerals. You will then become devoid of the vitamins and minerals. You are what you eat. But if you are growing it yourself in soil that is bursting with life and dense in nutrients and vitamins, then your food is likewise going to be dense in vitamins and minerals and life force. And so you eat this and the body just feels good. You feel thriving. And eating like that, there's no need for supplements. The closest thing to supplements that I would say I get are whole food or juices. I have an omega juicer. I juice wheatgrass, definitely all winter time. Wheatgrass is wonderfully powerful. And I juice things from the garden. Once the tomatoes start coming in, we'll be juicing tomatoes and some kale, stuff, just carrots, beets, all kinds of good stuff. So that would be the closest thing to supplements that I take. And I take raw beef liver. If you watch my Nate Muri channel, you already know we're all about raw beef liver, raw bone marrow, raw milk, raw colostrum, raw bovine colostrum, and all kinds of good stuff. Also, lots of fermented foods, like I'm going to show you guys right here. I'm just getting ready to make a kombucha again. So this has been in the refrigerator because kombucha for me comes and goes, comes in waves. Like all food, really. The human body actually does not need all the vitamins and minerals every day. We were designed to eat with the seasons, meaning that whatever is in season, when this tree is setting fruit, we gorge ourselves on that. Or when the season and the fish, the salmon are running, then we gorge ourselves on that. Or when the leafy greens are here in the middle of spring and summer, we gorge ourselves on that. And the human body can store all of this stuff in those times because that's how we are designed. And so we don't have to, contrary to popular belief, you don't have to get every single vitamin and mineral every single day. So you can eat the nutrient-dense stuff when it's in season. And then go long periods without certain things. And yes, we can thrive in that way. So that being said, the kombucha comes, for me, I like it middle of summer, really. Middle of summer into fall. And so here is a SCOBY that I got, from the refrigerator that I've had. So I'm going to be making a video pretty soon on how to make the kombucha. So even if you don't have a SCOBY, because this is from my previous batches, this one's maybe 5 years old now. I mean, through succession, it's a relative, it's a child of the mother from 5 years ago. So, because you just keep a little bit in the refrigerator, so no matter what happens to your brew batch, you'll always have more to start with. But even if you don't have a SCOBY yet, it's okay. If you can get some real kombucha, this is just kombucha that was left, just a jug of it, and I put it in the refrigerator, at the back of the refrigerator, and look, you can see that it has started to form. Do you see how it's gelatinous already? You see that? That is the SCOBY. SCOBY means symbiotic community of beneficial yeasts. That's what it means. And so it's going to start to coagulate like that and gel up. And so you can make it if you just get the good stuff from, try to find like the Amish do it the real way, or the farmers markets, some of them might do it. But some of the commercial brands can work of the kombucha, but most of it has actually been pasteurized, and then bacteria and stuff, the yeast added back into it so that they can say full of live and active cultures, but it's actually not the real deal. That's most of the stuff from the store, and they add carbonation. So if you can find real kombucha, all you need are a couple cups of the kombucha itself. So I'll be doing a video on that pretty soon, because this stuff is amazing, especially when we've got mint and chamomile and lemon balm, and ginger. We're going to be doing all those things. Oh, it's so delicious in the kombucha, okay? So, Jeff Cox says, my wife and I are new subscribers. Welcome, my friends. Thank you for all the knowledge. I have had great results with making and utilizing JMS. The diversity of microbes this season is producing extraordinary results. Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing your testimony, my friend. Let's see. Lisa T says, good to try because I keep SCOBYs at room temp. We'll put in the fridge. Yeah, they will last a lot longer in the fridge. So because I always make sure, even when they're all brewing and stuff, I always make sure I've got backup SCOBYs in the fridge. That way, if something happens, the shelf breaks and it falls all over the place, or something goes wrong, you get some mold in there, you can just start fresh. Don't ever only have the kombucha that's brewing be your only supply. And once we make it, though, the type I like to do, I never remove the kombucha or the SCOBY, really. I just add more raw tea to it, and then it's a perpetual ferment. I Run Amok says, Cultures for Health sells SCOBYs and other fermented food starters, yogurt, sourdough. Okay, yeah, good to know. Good to know. Maybe I'll find a source for you guys. That's what I should do. I'll find a source for you guys. If you don't have SCOBYs, I'll find a source for it, and I'll put the link in the description. Just Me says, I'm late. Been watching the coup in Russia. Yes, I heard something about that. Pinball was saying some things about that. That guy, Chris, Viking, have you found the other mint varieties for your teas? Orange, strawberry, etc. No, I have not. I have not. That's probably going to have to be, because it's past the time when you would want to get the mints. So I probably, unless somebody wanted to send me some, which would be awesome, I will not be getting the mint or the orange or the strawberry. Although, did you guys even know that, that mint, orange mint and strawberry mint even existed? So if somebody wants to send me some, I'd be very appreciative. Some rooted cuttings. Let's see here. Wild Bill says, is it too late for one more round of fertilizer on the onion, zone 6B? No, it's not, because they just started to bulb. So your onions are going to bulb. So all of their energy is now going to shift and focus on bulbing. And so you are going to see they are going to draw nutrients out of the leaves at a certain point. So they're going to draw it out of the earth, but out of the leaves as well. So some of the leaves will start to turn a lighter color as it's focusing its energy and redirecting the life force into the bulb. And so you, yes, you can add one more round of good, strong fertilizer. Onions and garlic can take strong stuff. Okay, so and by strong I mean like the chicken manure tea, like 10-1. You know, they can take it strong. So you can utilize that. Yes, they love nitrogen, but after this, we're at the solstice or 2 days ago, and so yeah, anytime within the next 5 days or so, go ahead and give one last good strong fertilizer to the onions. But if you have things like the aerated compost tea, you can give them anytime, which is super beneficial. Or the JDOM JMS, the microbial solution, you can give them after that. So give them one more good fertilization with a nitrogen-rich source like the fish fertilizer or urea, things like that. But then just give them either JMS or the aerated compost teas. Let's see here. Jay Brammer says regular mint or orange mint? I'm talking about the exotic type. I never even heard of orange or strawberry mint. So both of those I would like to have. Let's see here. Dennis Carpenter says, make videos while you're cooking for yourself, aka that you're drinking, aka that you're drinking. Not sure what you mean. But yeah, I could make videos while I'm cooking. But you know, I like to have a certain production quality. I Run Amok says, I have many mint flavors and I'm happy to share. That would be cool. What kind of flavors do you have? Chocolate mint, yeah, can be all right. I did have some of that, but it didn't really do very well here for some bizarre reason. Just me, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. So sending love from your future stomping grounds, I hope. Yeah, yeah, that would be cool, man. If I was in Tennessee, yeah, we'd be hanging out all the time, doing all kinds of stuff, man. You know how you got certain people that you can do like projects with, you just vibe really well together, and you both have the same kind of spirit and attitude that you can just like, you love doing projects and accomplishing, building things and stuff. I love that kind of person, you know, so that's what he's talking about. So let's see here. The Mom General says, lime basil is the best tea. Lime basil. I don't have any of that either. Guys, don't be afraid. I'll have a P.O. box real soon, okay? I'll have a P.O. box real soon, so you can send me stuff to that. If you've got, I really would like it if you guys have got some good garlic that is like an heirloom variety or something. It doesn't even have to be just something that you've been growing for many years. Something that's been in your family for many years or something. A good quality garlic. I would love some cloves of that. Yes, this would be great. But also some rooted mint cuttings and stuff like that. You know, rooted lime basil, something like that would be great. If you guys want to send those to me, you can. Brian R.E. says, were you able to get your cup back? No, not yet. I don't think Jerry even heard me. I got to text him or I got to email him. Jerry, if you're listening, I forgot my good cup that my mom got me. Well, I mean that the Easter Bunny got me last year. And I used it all the time. It's a Yeti, and it was like $60 or $70, I'm sure. It was like a really good big cup, and it kept liquid scalding hot for like 24 hours, and I left it when I went to the consulting trip. So please either send it back or hold it for me. Sarah Richardson says, all these flavored mints sound Frankenstein to me. Yeah, they could be. I know. It's kind of crazy sounding. Let's see here. Let's see. Mad Max says, Nate, goal this week, P.O. box. Okay, you're right. by next time I talk to you guys, I will have a P.O. box. How's that? So that's okay, so I've given my word on that, and so now it has to happen. So I'm going to write it down, and P.O. box, P.O. box. And by next time I talk to you guys, meaning next Saturday, there will be a P.O. box. Just me, another tip, $10, says proud of you and all you do. Thanks, buddy. I'm proud of you. I'm actually really proud of you. Managing that whole operation like you do. So I'm proud of you. Tammy Harder says, I have pineapple mint in my dehydrator. Pineapple mint, yeah, I've not been on the mint train. I've just been doing these. I've got like I got 3 different kinds. I don't even know what they're called, but yeah, that would be great. Jay Brammer says, I'll send you a tip in the mail. Hey, that would be nice as well. And then someone said, oh, wait, Jerry says, Yeti cup full of cucumber beetles dead, preferably on the way. Yes, nice. Okay. Thank you very much, Jerry. Cucumber beetles. Oh my goodness. So, yeah. Let's see. What else? Okay. Taylor said, so yeah, thanks, Jerry. That'd be great if you could do that. If not, you can just hold it for me. Hopefully I'll be down there before too long because I want to see, got to see everything that's happening and see where it's at so far. Did you plant the cover crops yet? Well, you can just keep in touch with me. But because I'm so interested in that stuff. When I do like a consultation, guys, I like leave a piece of my heart there with it. It's like when I plant seeds or when the plan or all of this, just a piece of my spirit is there, so it's almost like a Horcrux. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a piece of me is there. And so it's yeah, so I'm always thinking about it. It's like always in sort of the back of my mind somewhere, Taylor says, hi Nate, please put a link for your yerba mate. Yes, I should. And I can definitely approve of this yerba mate, man. It is some good stuff. As you guys know, I love yerba mate, which is a tree from the Amazonian type rainforest area. It's a tree, and it has caffeine in it, but it's nothing like coffee caffeine. Coffee can kind of make you and give you kind of like a nervous stomach and stuff like that. But this yerba mate is very grounding and it's energizing, but like in a very clear way. So I highly recommend it. It's I usually have 1 good strong cup of coffee in the morning and then 1 good strong cup of yerba mate in the afternoon between 1 and 4, give or take, 1 and 3. And to the mate, I will put the mint and the chamomile and the lemon balm and all the other good stuff. Guys, I wanted to show you this real quick though. If you're like living on the land or if you're doing things like chopping wood, cutting down shrubs, this thing, the skull crusher, has been my #1 tool. If I had to go, when I was living in the mountains, I carried this thing. I used it for everything. And I know it looks kind of weird, but once you get the hang of it, how to utilize it, you can do anything with this thing. And cutting the chunks of oak and stuff like that is really easy. And so I wanted to just show it to you guys. I think I put a link in the description of most of the videos. It's called the Skull Crusher, but it is indestructible. This thing, I lost it, man, and it's like my right-hand man, okay? This thing, when I was in the mountains, I carried it everywhere, and I lost it. And for 2 years, I didn't have it. And I just found it this past year, buried back in the under the compost. I don't even know how it got there, but look how good. I mean, it's still in pretty good condition. A little bit corroded and stuff, but I have used the heck out of this thing, and it is effortless, splitting kindling, splitting all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I put a link in the description. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I'm just saying I'm all about high quality tools, because I used to live a lifestyle where you depend on them. And so that is why I like these quality tools, and they just work really good. And so I pass that on to you guys, recommend that to you guys. And let's see here. Brian says, man, it would be great to have you consult and break bread with you and share the knowledge. That would be great, guys. Yeah, that would be great. Because some people, yeah, I can, I can do that with you guys as well. Yeah, we can do consultings either on the Zoom meeting, or if you have the means to get me there and stuff, then we can do it in person as well. If you're ready to take your homestead stuff to the next level and you want like an in-person consultation, then we can do that, you know. I mean, a lot of factors would have to be right, of course, but yeah, it's possible. Anything is possible. But guys, I wanted to show you this pump, okay? This thing, man, is, you guys have been asking me about it. And this is how I get this thing is bad. I mean, it is a bad pump right here. And so it is the best of its kind that I've ever used. And I used to live my life by pumps in Northern California on the farms. And so this thing is fantastic, super quiet, super powerful, and it's just a very high quality pump. And you can tell because one, it's like 25 pounds and it's all stainless steel and it keeps itself off the ground, and it can handle anything smaller than these things right here. It can pass no problem. It's like 20 pounds. It's super heavy, and it's got this 25-foot cord on it that is very high quality. You can just tell that this thing is quality, and I've been using it and it is the real deal. It will drain that thing, gives you good pressure. So if you're applying aerated compost teas or any of the liquid fertilizers to your garden, then yes, this is what you want to use. And it's like a 4,200 gallons per hour. Now that's at 0 elevation change, but for here we don't have but a couple feet elevation change. So about 4,000 gallons an hour, 850 watts. It weighs about 25 pounds, I think 20 pounds. And it's a piece of industrial machinery, you can tell, all right? But the thing is, like all quality implements, it is not cheap. It's about 250 bucks. So, but it will be like the last one that you'll be buying. So if you have a real size garden, or if you're really depending on it, then this is the one that you're going to want. They make much cheaper ones. You can get one for like 70 or 80 bucks, but man, they will clog, they will break, they will have not good pressure in them. They will just be generic and cheap. And I'm just done with all that stuff. I mean, I was done with that a long time ago. So it pays. I mean, if you're going to be using it to feed yourself, you know, then it really pays to get a good one. And I put a link in the description to them. It's just an Amazon affiliate link. So I'm not like sponsored by them to say any of that. I really feel that way. So yeah, if you want the real deal, that's the one. Let's see here. And that's awesome. Way better than my pump. Yes, it's pretty good. Let's see. Masabi says, very excited to use the biochar info you had on your tubes. Yes, the biochar is going to be wonderful. Natalie Dumont says, have your passport ready. Whew, yeah, man, for the first time in a long time, I don't have a passport, a technically like valid passport. My passport, every single page was completely full. And so then I just kind of let it run out. Tammy Harder says, wowza, looks like a beast. I am always looking for good tools for the husband. Thank you. Yes, that's a serious tool right there. It's a piece of like industrial type machinery, the real deal. Rosie Miller says, how heavy is the knife? It's not light. The skull crusher is not light. It's a couple of pounds, but it's just indestructible. I mean, you can take it and you can split firewood with it. Kindling, no problem. But the regular firewood, you can bat down the back of it, no problem. So yeah, it's really good. But there was a tip up here. I have to go up and see. Let's see. Oh, $10. Scott Muri. Thanks, Dad. Yeah. Those. Yeah. Okay. Unlikely. So anyways, let us see here. The gallons per hour is great. Okay. The PA says, check that tip before you're grounded for life. Oh, the funny. Okay, you know who it was then. Do you need an off switch with the pump? Okay, Jerry says, do you need an off switch with the pump? It's good to have an off switch. Yes, these have a centrifugal clutch in them. Okay, so these are not like a transfer pump. A transfer pump will just keep running and running, and if you block its flow, it will burst the line. And I've had that happen so many times. Ask me how I know that. But this has like a centrifugal clutch in it, so that once it realizes that no water's flowing, it like, you know, disengages like a clutch. And so it will not burn up or anything. So you can just shut the water off to the nozzle and it will just be fine. But one thing you do not want to do is let this run dry. So you do not want to let it run dry. So you want to be very mindful of the water level as far as once it gets down low, as soon as it makes that sound, shut it off. Yes. But no, you can just use a regular watering wand. Freebird says, your dad has a great sense of humor. I know. I didn't even want to read that. I know. It's funny. Obviously, he's being facetious. Let's see. Miss T says, did you put the link in this description? To the knife and the pump? I think so, yeah. The knife might be down. Well, I'm just not sure. My description, I need to reformulate all of that, because I just put things that I'm using, I just put them into the description, you know, because I want you guys to be able to get them. So let us see there. And so guys, don't forget, as soon as at 2:30 Eastern time, so about an hour after we're done here, then there's going to be a live interview of myself on the Let's Get Growing by the Urban Gardener podcast. Okay, so if you're still available, come over to there. I put a link in the description of this video, right, so that you can click on it and go right to that. And who knows what we're going to talk about? We will see, but it's going to give me about an hour of rest time to rest my voice and maybe gargle with some salt water, and then I will be on that channel. So check it out. Let's show some support on the channel, okay? Because he's an up-and-coming channel, and anyone that's trying to spread the love and the knowledge about gardening and growing and the spirit of the earth, then we need to support. So Robert Sorvio said $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, just applied your JDOM calcium recipe. Thank you so much for the recipe and the savings. No longer have to buy CalMag. Bob in Virginia. Yes, you are welcome. You are very welcome. That's a very good source of calcium. Now, if you are growing indoors, I don't know what plants, I don't know what you're doing, but a lot of people will use CalMag for their indoor plants. And remember, I always tell you, indoor is a whole different animal. And so if you want to make a good CalMag replacement, make the eggshell calcium, but you can also add some Epsom salt to that. And that Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. So it will also give you some sulfur, which will be really good because plants like sulfur to ripen, especially, well, certain plants indoors. But anyways, I don't know what got me on that topic. Let's see here. Okay, Voltage Nut says both links are there. Okay, good. Just Me says it was a maple tree seedling. Maple tree seedling. Okay, cultivate this channel. Ooh, that guy Chris. Cultivate this channel with a thumbs up. Yes, thank you. Let's see. Jerry Jr. says, do you have a video that I must have missed where you start seeds before planting season, showing type of soil, medium, etc.? Yes, you can. I actually did a video. It didn't do very well for some reason, but maybe, I don't know why, but it's called Seed Starting Masterclass. And it tells you the 5 things that plants need. And what are they, guys? Light, air, water, nutrients, and it all has to happen at the right temperature. And the 5 things are like an equation in the sense that any one of these factors can be the limiting factor. If you don't have enough light, it doesn't matter how much of the other ones you have, it's not going to thrive. If you have plenty of light and water and air, but not enough nutrients or not enough temperature, it's not going to happen. So these 5 things need to be in harmony. And when you raise one, the others can be raised, okay? So, yes, I definitely have a video on that. Let's see, 2 times more folks watching than thumbs up. Yeah, I know, Don Hollenbach. So guys, give it a thumbs up. Definitely give the channel a thumbs up. Give the video a thumbs up. It costs you nothing and it helps the channel out because we love to grow stuff. And Clyde Broke says, please tell us the channel you'll be on today. So if you go to the description of this video, I put a link to that video. It's coming up, and so you can be waiting for it. The channel name is The Urban Gardener, and it is the Let's Get Growing live cast, I think. So yeah, he just contacted me, said, hey, we would like to do an interview with you. Are you open to that? I said, yes, of course. Because he's done like Tony from Simplified Gardening from the UK, and Scott from, or Gary Pilichuk. Yeah, I think that's his name. He's done some of the big name gardeners. So it was pretty cool. Let's see here. Scott Miller says, will we be notified before 2:30 if we have signed up? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works. But just set your phone alarm now, 2:30, okay? And interact. You can interact in the chat and all that stuff, so be good. Okay, just turned on notifications. Thank you. Let's see here. And your videos are great. Can you do a video if possible on phosphorus, potassium soluble fertilizer? Yes, most of the fertilizers that we do on this channel are going to be very balanced, meaning that they're going to have all of those things. And we don't typically, we kind of get away from dividing up the growing nutrients to N, P, and K. That's more for like chemical fertilization train of thought. With natural farming, it's more just balanced. And you give the plant a balanced source of nutrients all the time with the appropriate microorganisms so that the plant can utilize whatever it wants when it needs it. It's different than like chemical fertilizers. If you apply a bunch of nitrogen, it swells the plant up. It has to take it. Whereas if you apply it, because it's in a chemical form that is totally unnatural, and it forces the plant to uptake it. But if we have these natural sources, then the plant is going to take up what it needs when it needs it. And that's what's ideal, is to make sure that all the food is there so that it can have whatever it wants at the moment that it wants it. The plant chooses when it wants it. Because contrary to popular belief, you don't grow the plants. The plant grows itself. And so all you can do is make sure that it has everything it needs to reach its genetic potential. Let's see here. And Robert Sorvio says, growing indoors and greenhouse. Added the Epsom salt again. Thank you so much for all your tips. Love the channel. All right. And let's see here. Thought I had something. Okay. And so happy I found you. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Yes, you're very welcome, Ari. That guy Chris says, other video suggestion, danger of grazon and PFAs from outside source of biomass. Yeah, man, it is a real problem. The grazon is a super huge issue. I want to do a whole video on that. But what is also important though is that we have to understand that it's not so much the fault of the farmer, because the farmer is doing what he's been indoctrinated to do. The farmer, most industrial ag farmers, and I have them in my family, a number of them. So this is nothing like personal at all, or no attack on their character in any way. It is just a fact that most industrial ag farmers don't actually know about growing in terms of how the soil food web works, or how nutrient cycling works, or how the natural system works at all. What they really know, what they've been trained, is how to drive heavy machinery, how to plant the patented GMO seeds and at what time to plant them, how to apply whatever chemical fertilizers they have purchased from the companies that train them. That's what they really know. And so they don't really, so a lot of times their home gardens will be actually very lackluster because those industrial ag knowledge and practice doesn't translate to growing like real food in our gardens and stuff. So again, it's not like an attack in any way on the farmers, but it is just a reflection, an illustration of the system that they have been born into. So these farmers, they go to seminars and they get trained by the chemical companies that are selling them their stuff. And so the things that we're doing are demonized. And we, the home gardener, we are made to look like an insignificant little joke. We are made to, yeah, but they don't understand nothing because we're growing all the food for the world, And so they're corn and soybeans and wheat and stuff. And so the traditional techniques, the home gardener growing their own food and stuff, all of that's marginalized, ridiculed, sort of, new age woo-woo and all that stuff. But you can understand. So we don't take offense to things like that because we can understand that they've been indoctrinated by the ag companies. The ag companies own their life, the farmer's life, basically. With that in mind, we have to understand that they will do anything to get a profit, because the industrial ag farmer has been indoctrinated to view the land as a source of profit. Okay, how can I extract every possible cent from the land? How can I get the land to yield for me more than it did last time? Because everything has to be more. So whatever I have to do to get more, squeeze more from the land is totally justified. Totally justified because, hey, I got to make a living. Well, okay. But with that mentality, we have cut down every single tree that can be cut down. When you drive around here and you look in the oceans, when you drive out in the country in Indiana, you can see, as far as you can see in all directions, is corn and soybean crops with tiny little rows of trees that are left, only because the law stipulates that you have to have a certain amount of hedgerow in between the properties. If that law wasn't there, there'd be zero trees whatsoever. The profit-driven mentality would wipe it all out. And so we have to understand, we have to see what that is doing. And so for that reason, if they can squeeze more money out of the land by applying something that is going to guarantee that they are not going to have weeds in their high quality hay that they're trying to sell for top dollar, then they're going to use it. Of course, they're going to use it. And to them, hey, we don't know anything about their lifestyle. And in many ways, that's right. We are not like that. And so that's why we can't blame the farmer directly, all right? The fault lies in the fact that these chemicals have ever been made in the first place and that they are being pushed upon us. And so I don't know where I was going with all that. I just really letting it flow because we have to be so careful with the grazon, because these chemicals are almost like a weapon in the sense that this time-honored traditional fertilizer of animal manures, which humans and animals and agriculture have been side by side since agriculture began. I mean, obviously, we don't even need actual records of any of that. You can just, obviously, that's how it works. And you would use the manures of the animal because essentially the animals like the cow and the horse, they produce for you compost in a couple of days instead of 8 months. Really good stuff. The microbes that they have in their gut, all of this stuff's they produce the ideal fertilization, the grass-eating animals. And so now with these chemicals, that has been compromised. Now we can no longer use this ancient, time-honored, traditional fertilization technique because it's going to poison our land for the next 5 years or longer. And that when you say it like that, it almost sounds like a weapon, doesn't it? Because it's like, okay, well, if that's the result, then that sucks because now we have to buy fertilizer. It's all kind of becomes clear at that point. It's just a joke. It's a total joke, and it's disheartening, but we don't let it dishearten us because the change has to happen with each individual person. And if we each individually change like this and go back to the earth, the ways of the earth, then collectively the collective will change by itself. Because if we each individually change, then the collective already takes care of itself. And so that is why we focus on being a responsible steward of the earth, because we are stewards of the land. To think that we can own the land is absurd. So, okay, I'm going to get to the questions, but yeah, I just hope that you guys are feeling me with that, because it's just super important. Deportees Destiny says, you need to do a show with John from Growing Your Greens. hey, set it up, put the bug in his ear. I would do it. I will do any kind of interview or, seminar, whatever it is. I will do it. Let's see here. Yes, Wayne says Grazon XL herbicide is the easiest way to get broadleaf weeds out of the way of pasture production. I know, it really is. It really is. And so when you think of, okay, well, if you were in their position, I mean, what are you going to do when we're at this point? What are you going to do? And that's why I say don't blame the farmer necessarily, because what else are they going to do? This is the system that we're born into. And because it used to be, and it still is in many countries, and I've been traveling throughout the world and I've seen this, but it used to be almost everybody was a farmer. Almost everyone was farming. And each farm was a small plot, 5 acres or so. And each farm had a diversity of animals and plants. They grew multiple different plants. They grew all the things that they needed to eat. And if they couldn't do it, then their neighbors were growing some of the things they didn't grow. But they had chickens and cows and a hog and a horse, and they had multiple different things like that. And that is how, for most of our history, that is how things were happening like that. And so only in the very recent past has it become where almost nobody is farmers. Less than 1%. I mean, less than a fraction of 1%. It used to be like 80-something% of the people were farmers. And now it's like less than 1%. And that less than 1% has to grow astronomical amounts of food, utilizing technology, utilizing these equipment and stuff. And so they have to grow oceans of corn, oceans of soybeans, just one plant. Or there'll be an animal farm where they just do chickens, thousands upon thousands of chickens, and that is not the way. The old way is the right way, where each smaller family had a smaller plot that was manageable, and a huge diversity of plants and animals. This is the way. And one way or the other, we have to go back to that. We will be forced. This whole industrial agricultural phenomenon, this explosion of phosphorus, all these petroleum-based fertilizers, there will come a time we will look back on this and think, wow, man, that was a heck of a run, but we destroyed the soil. We really messed up, and we will have to go back to the smaller holdings. So let's see here. So, okay, some of the questions. Love the documentary description. Oh yeah, Scott Miller says, love the documentary description referenced last month. Rewatch Idiocracy. Laugh so hard. Yeah, I know, man. The laugh so hard I peed in my biochar. That's a funny one. That's a good one. Idiocracy. Yeah, if you haven't seen that documentary, guys, get up on it, because it is a perfect expose of where society, the person who made that knew the plan, knew where things are heading. And so... okay. Do you mean, let us see where I wonder, okay, Monsanto, okay. Greta said, it's not Monsanto, it's Monsatan. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, okay, guys, we are going to be approaching the end of this one, but it will not be the end. So, because we are going to have another live stream today at 2:30 Eastern time. So about an hour after we finish here. We still got about 7 minutes here. And then we will go over to that channel. So I put a link in the description, and that will take you to that interview. So I would like all of you guys to be there. Even if you can't listen to every word, just be there, because I want to show support. Because we got to support the community as far as these guys are, trying to get the word about growing your own food, self-sufficiency, trying to get the word out there. And that is a noble cause, in my opinion. Let us see here. Jerry says, the green revolution is actually the chemical revolution. Looking forward to green cover crop revolution. Absolutely. Yeah. See how they do it, though? They use names like the green revolution in the 70s. And so, well, it was the 70s, right? The The green revolution, yeah. Like everything's just so lush and green, yeah. The chemical fertilizer revolution that actually poisoned the soil and is enslaving the land. That's more of an accurate term for it, yeah. The petroleum-based chemical poison revolution that is enslaving the land. Okay, we've just described it to a much more accurate term. Just me, another tip, my friend. $50, man. Thanks, my friend. He says, thanks, brother. Yes, you're very welcome. You are very welcome. And let me know how that sauerkraut is turning out. It should be turning out good if you followed the instructions. That guy Chris says, question. Anytime I see that, I think of Dwight. Do you guys think of that? Question. Any possibility on a video on proper and safe processing and usage of human manure? People may need it as the safe nutrient sources are scarce. Yeah, I know. That will have to wait until we get the land, until we get the ranch with the school and all of that, because here we can't be doing human manure fertilizer. We just can't. But definitely we will be. I will show you guys how to do that. We did it in the land. When I lived in the mountains, we did it. Yes, no problem. Very good, very beneficial, especially from people like us that are eating natural foods in as close to their whole state as possible. Okay, because if somebody is eating Hot Pockets and Gushers and drinking Mountain Dew all the time and therefore has to take a half a dozen different medications, their human manure is not going to be desirous. It's going to be undesirable because it's going to be chocked full of all kinds of bizarre stuff. And so those of us that eat in the way that is aligned with our natural order of things, then we will have no problem. Very, very good. I mean, I can count on one hand the preservatives that I get. I don't even know when only if I'm out with family or something like that, or someone gives me something, would there be something with any kind of preservative in it that I would even eat. I mean, I cook from scratch every day and whole real food. So it's like, it can be done totally. And once you get in the habit of it, it's just what you do. You don't even think about it, Ms. T says, getting the growing word out is life. Thanks, Nate. Yes, very welcome, my friend. So, okay, a couple more minutes we got. Megan says, question on cabbages. Started forming heads a couple weeks ago, but making really slow progress now. Is that normal or making a mistake? Growing Brunswick and New Jersey, and Jersey early. Okay, so the cabbages, it's a little bit late for the cabbage to be heading in the sense that they will form the best heads, the tightest heads, if it's getting cooler. So especially the Brunswick. The Brunswick is a fall winter cabbage. So the Brunswick, I don't even plant in the spring. I only plant the Jersey early would work in the spring, or the Golden Acre cabbage or the Gloria Weinkusen. Those are good ones for the spring because they head up easily early. But the Brunswick can be big and take a long time to head up. So it can take like 100 days to head up, but it loves to have the frost. It loves a couple of frosts. It usually snows on top of my Brunswick cabbages. So, yeah, it's going to be the heat. That's going to be the issue. So if it's hot and dry, the cabbages aren't going to want to head properly. But yeah, just give them time. They'll head. They'll head. So, let's see here. Jerry Jr. says, FYI, a YouTuber off-grid with Doug and Stacy grow 90% of their own food for 14 years now and live off-grid. They only have rainwater and compost. Yes, I know. Doug and Stacy's a wonderful channel, guys. They got lots of good information. Tell them I said what's up. If you're there, tell them Garden Like a Viking says what's up. Maybe we'll do a collab of some kind. So Pam says, thank you, Nate. Yes, it certainly is good to support people who are trying to awaken people. It starts with each of us to make an effort. Very well said, my friend. Let's see here. Okay, guys. So we are just going to pretty much end it. So you can You can join us on the live stream interview that will be coming. I need to recollect myself, and it's going to be in about 1 hour from now. So if you click on the link in the description, it will take you to that video, and I want to see you guys there. And then check out the Garden Like a Viking Instagram account, where we're sharing all kinds of pictures and stuff. If you want to show me pictures of your garden, the best way to do it, or if you have questions, best way to do it is through Instagram. Start an Instagram account and mention me at Garden Like a Viking, or use the hashtag Garden Like a Viking. And then I will see it. And that's the best way for us to interact, okay? Because emails and stuff is not, I mean, some things, but I'm getting a lot of emails now. So yes, that will be best way to do it is Instagram, and more people can see our stuff, our interactions, and learn from it. And that's what's most important. So, because I like when, to take the time to give advice and all that kind of stuff. I love to have multiple people be able to benefit from it instead of just one. You know what I mean? So yes, check out that. And even if you don't have an Instagram account, it's worth starting one just so that we can exchange garden information. And it's lovely to show people pictures of your garden, and it helps to inspire them. All right. And we will be here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 12 noon, even though it's going to be changing to 10:30 on Mondays. But this week is going to be 12 noon on my other channel, Nate Muri. We have a live stream where we talk about spirituality, health and wellness, cold training, heat training, all the good stuff. So Taylor says, thanks, Nate. You are inspiring me to be the best I can be. That's fantastic, my friend. That is what it's all about. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for hanging out, man. I feel like I'm just in a room with 200 or 300 of my good friends, which is awesome. So we'll see you next time. Well, actually, we'll see you in 1 hour over at the Urban Gardener live stream. Hit the like button. That's right.